It's the Relevant Top 50, counting down the best music, TV, books, and movies of 2016. This Relevant podcast miniseries is brought to you by VideoBlocks. VideoBlocks is an affordable, subscription-based stock media site that gives you unlimited access to premium stock footage. VideoBlocks also has a sister site, AudioBlocks, that offers unlimited access to 130,000 premium music tracks, sound effects, and loops. Right now, VideoBlocks is offering our listeners a year subscription to both VideoBlocks and AudioBlocks for only $149. It's an incredible discounted deal to get both stock video and audio files for any project. Get your year subscription today for only $149 at videoblocks.com/relevant. That's videoblocks.com/relevant for this discounted offer. Now here's the show.
Welcome to Relevant Top 50, our weekly podcast miniseries counting down the best music, movies, books, and TV shows of 2016. I'm Jesse Carey, and here with me today is Relevant Top Dog, Cameron Strang.
Are you going to change it every week now?
Every week. People are going to tune in just to hear how I change it up.
Head honcho, top dog.
It went from head honcho to top dog. I've got a whole list of these that I'm going to go through the next couple weeks.
This dog bites.
Managing editor Rebecca Jo Flores.
Hey guys.
Our editorial director Aaron Hanberry.
Hello.
Hanberry, not B-U-R-Y. It's B-E-R-R.
It's actually pronounced Burry.
Yeah.
Well,
as in you.
Like Burberry.
Right, like Burberry.
And finally, the man
Burry
behind the
dead.
ones and twos, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
He's my brother.
So in case this is the first episode you're turning in, we're on week 3. So the other ones are in the archives, weeks 1 and 2. And what we're doing is we're counting down the best pop culture releases of the year. Every year we do like year-end lists recapping some of our favorite releases. But we decided to do one awesome podcast miniseries where not only do we list them all, but we get to talk about them and hear clips. So a quick recap from last week in case you missed it. We talked about at number 42, Sho Baraka's The Narrative. We also talked about the Zach Galifianakis TV show Baskets, the documentary Almost Holy, Johnny Swim's Georgia Capond, A Very Good Gospel from Lisa Sharon Harper, Doctor Strange, The Late Late Show with James Corden, and Warpaint's Heads Up.
So what's a capond?
A Georgia Capond.
No, it's Georgia Capond.
One of the themes on this show is the correct pronunciation of things, including Aaron's last name.
Maybe it's
in the Johnny Swin album.
It's Georgica.
It could be the name George, and then
It's Georgica. But Jesse pronounced it Georgia Capon.
Georgia Capon.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks I consulted Johnny Swim, and they said they gave me permission to call it whatever I want. So I'm standing by Georgia
whatever it means
Capon.
to you.
If you can't, if your search results aren't pulling up the album, blame my pronunciation. But it is a great album. I hate to take that away from it. All right, so the third installment of the One Wild Life trilogy, Body, is Gungor at the most experimental at one moment and their most accessible the next. The album is an exploration of big ideas like birth, death, beauty, and even body shaming. And it's full of worshipful ballads, indie pop anthems, and constantly surprising arrangements. Coming in at number 34, Gungor's One Wild Life, Body.
One of the things I dig about Gungor is they keep evolving, but then there's bands that just experiment for experiment's sake, and it's like out there, but they have a melodic base to everything they're doing that it's beautiful but it's interesting and it's fresh. It's always new. It's great.
The cool thing about this release, as we kind of mentioned in the intro, it is like the third installment of this like really high concept trilogy that they did an album based on Spirit, soul, and this one, obviously body. But I felt like this was the strongest out of the bunch because I feel like they're, with soul and spirit, they're, like thematically they're so similar, where this, they could not just like thematically break into new areas of exploration, but it also like has like different, I feel like the highs and lows of this album are much more dramatic than some of the others. Like there are those mellow moments like we just heard from Tree, and then there's other songs on the record that are you want to turn up and really kind of jam out to, riding around in your car or whatever.
Well, case in point, they have William Matthews, who's a worship artist, on a track called Free. Here it is. Cool.
Yeah.
So unexpected for them.
No, it's great. And one of the things I love about Gungor always, and in this particular album, or in this album in particular, is they eschew cliches. You take whatever genre of music they happen to be doing, and look at the breadth of music out there, and they're not just putting together something that other people have put together lyrically or musically. So it always feels fresh to me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even if you're not a fan of like quote unquote like worship music, which I don't even know if this really qualifies as a worship album, though Gungor has
not anymore. Yeah, not anymore.
But
they used to.
Yeah, for sure. They used to be like a worship artist. But what I guess my point is, like, musically, this is so advanced that even if you're not a fan of things that are typically done by artists who are in the worship space, that this is a really interesting record.
Eschew. You said askew.
That was the second pronunciation.
Yeah, but the primary pronunciation is eschew.
It was primary for people in England.
We are a mere 8 minutes into this, and we've already had multiple arguments about pronunciations, and we haven't even mentioned
the whole
Jordan
medium
yet.
is about audio.
There's a whole website about how do you pronounce things. I've had to fire it up 4 different times before we started recording.
I wonder if they have an app we can get. Can we all get the app?
Wait, we're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we may or may not have an artist named Majid Jordan coming up, so it's going to get real interesting.
Majid?
Majid. One of 2016 most surprising breakout films, it currently holds a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, is an Irish coming-of-age comedy called Sing Street that's inspired by new wave music, the rise of the music video, and teenage romance. Taking cues from films like School of Rock and Rushmore, the film is about young misfits trying to find themselves through music in the midst of difficult home lives, bullies, and heartbreak. Coming in at number 33, Sing Street.
Well, if this is the future, we're all screwed, aren't we? I mean, look at this guy. He's not even singing live.
It's a video, Robert. It's art. Everybody's making them these days. Look at it.
I mean, why can't they get them to play live? What are they trying to hide?
It's because they're in the USA. Did you not hear them? And this lasts forever. It's the perfect mixture of music and visuals. It's short, to the point. Look at it. I mean, what tyranny could stand up to that?
This was a really, I feel, this movie for me like kind of came out of nowhere. I just saw like a lot of critics talking about it when it was released. It's on Netflix right now for anyone who wants to see it. But it was totally surprising. But one of like, I love music. I love movies about music. Like I love like Almost Famous. I love even School of Rock, which is kind of more lighthearted. But that music is at the heart of this. There's a lot of musical moments, but particularly like an era that doesn't get covered a lot in film, which is like the rise of kind of new wave, which in modern music right now is having a big moment, kind of this synth-heavy, smart pop. But this was a really fun, cool coming-of-age movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think one of the things I enjoyed about it in particular was the way that it went places that typically lighthearted or comedic movies, especially about like teen bands and teen music, those kind of things, didn't go. It has all the elements that are there, even of something as pop level as like That Thing You Do or something like that. But in the end, the
Jersey Boys,
the musical and the movie experience,
Sound of Music,
Sound of Music, Singing in the Rain.
You name
a movie that has music in it, and this is kind of like those. No, by the end of it though, you realize that what you've been watching is a movie about two brothers. I think fundamentally, and I think that was a really effective ending. That it wasn't even necessarily just a romantic movie.
Romance movies, rom-coms.
Yes.
Eschew.
Yes. Ultimately, Sing Street is not just about a boy and a girl and how a band makes the cool kid or the nerdy kid cool and get the girl. In the end, it's about an older brother who had certain experiences that he was able to propel his little brother through and see him advance.
You would say maybe that it eschewed the typical format for these types of films.
Most films go one direction, and this one came in and eschewed it.
Yeah, well, I think your opinion is askew. Can I say that? Is that a proper word? Like if it's off center?
Askew, yes, correct. That is very
askew.
close to what he was saying.
The word for that one is off center.
Yeah. Well, but seriously though, if the other thing that's a little bit surprising to this, especially if you're used to like a lot of these like American made, comedies that are coming of age stories, this one is an Irish film and it has a grittier vibe to it the entire time. Like the family dynamics are sometimes really hard to watch. It's not as polished in a good way as like a Hollywood movie. It has edges and it kind of, but that I feel like makes the like sentimentality of it even more effective.
Oh, sure. And one of the things that's fascinating to me about this film is that there's all kind of, like you said, gritty things happening to this kid and his brother. The family is in the middle of a split. This is in a poor economy in Ireland. People are fleeing to London and other places just to find work. This family's home is about to get foreclosed, etc. But they never make a huge deal about that in the film, though. Like it keeps happening, and you keep seeing these things happen. But the kids' emotions and the reason they're making music seems to not be directly connected to that, or connected to it in the way that we would typically see it in a movie that we typically see.
Well, in his latest book, Executing Grace, author and activist Shane Claiborne further makes the case that being against the death penalty is an essential part of the holistic pro-life ethic. Not only does the book look at systemic problems with how the death penalty is carried out in America, he also examines the spiritual implications of advocating for the killing of people made in God's image. Coming in at number 32, Executing Grace by Shane Claiborne.
The more that I looked at the death penalty, the more I saw that this is kind of a Pandora's box. It opens up a whole lot of other really important issues like race and economic inequity and how the death penalty is applied. Even things like the role of government. How much do we trust our government with the power of, an irreversible power over life and death? And our history of slavery and racial injustice in this in our country. That's one of the things I started seeing as I looked at deeper into the death penalty. But the other thing I would say is with the death penalty, it raises one of the most fundamental questions of our faith, which is any person beyond redemption? And at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of reasons to be against the death penalty. But for a Christian who believes that Jesus died to spare us from death, and this idea of grace, or as Scripture says, mercy triumphs over judgment. If we really believe those things like Jesus said, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy, it makes it harder and harder to get excited about killing someone, right?
So this year, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and California all passed to reinstate the death penalty. And I learned that recently, and I was asking a friend, like, what is the argument here? Like, if someone's voting for the death penalty, like, what is their logic? And I discovered recently that surprisingly a lot of people feel like, I shouldn't pay for the worst of people to have, glorified lodging and, provided by the state. Which I just honestly couldn't believe, and I still can't wrap my head around.
Shane makes the case that if you're pro-life because of your faith, if you believe that life and human dignity are important, and we're made in the image of our Creator, that if you are against abortion per se, that you have to be against the death penalty as well. That that a consistent pro-life ethic, and he lays that out in this book brilliantly. This has been a message he's had for years, and this is really the first time he's written in depth about it, and it's an important message to have to consider.
Yeah, you can't have that stance and say unless they're 60 and did a terrible crime, or unless they're they weren't provided the same opportunities as everyone else to grow up in a home where they could learn how to function as like a member of society.
Yeah.
The other thing about this book is it is for anyone that's interested in developing like an ethic that to bring in a stance against the death penalty into their pre-existing pro-life ethic. This book is the deepest dive that I've personally encountered into the death penalty, because not only does it break down the spiritual implications, like Cameron was saying, like you can't have inconsistencies in your pro-life ethic.
Exactly.
The other thing that it really breaks down is the problems in how the death penalty is applied. There's an inherent unfairness to the people that sit on death row forever until they die naturally, and how the people that are actually executed die. Like there's an unfairness, it's not effective. Like he goes into statistically, like there is no correlation between a decrease in violent crime and the application of the death penalty. To me, it's hard to walk away from reading this book and still being pro death penalty, even if it's not something that you're spiritually against.
Would you say that this book eschewed the normal Christian narrative about?
I would. I'm actually here, Cameron. I'm actually looking at it on my bookshelf right now, and it's sitting slightly askew. It's because I just read it and put it back in a hurry, and I was like, "Man, this is good." I just threw it back on.
Look up this word again. I feel like it's getting.
Yeah, I think it needs to be referenced.
It's getting out of control.
At just 20 years old, British singer Lapsley is already making her mark on the world of pop music. A songwriter, producer, and singer, she first came to the attention of fans after posting songs she'd recorded in her bedroom, eventually garnering hundreds of thousands of plays online. Her breakout debut album, Long Way Home, dropped in March, quickly established her as one of the most unique voices of 2016. Coming in at number 31, Lapsley's Long Way Home.
So if you're gonna hurt me, why don't you hurt me a little bit more? Just dig a little deeper, push a little harder than before. And I'm counting down the seconds that we have. I can see the end inside and lost. So if you're gonna hurt me, why don't you hurt me a little bit more? Like breathing underwater, where's the law and order?
That is such a cool song. Like every time I like re-listen to Lapsley, her album came out in the spring, so it was kind of in heavy rotation then. But every time I listen to it, I'm like, man, this is such a good album. And I can't believe the person that is the creative force behind this is
the person that was creative force behind it when she made it was 18.
Yeah, like
and she wrote it. She wrote it in her bedroom of her parents' house. I mean, she's like was a kid making music in her bedroom, and that's the album that came out of it. I mean, that's just crazy to me.
I have a hot take that you guys may or may not disagree with.
Like most hot takes.
That is correct. I would say those are our options after you give a hot take that we may or may not disagree with it.
After your hot take,
I took a real risk there, like trying to project
I'm going to eschew the normal response and just agree with it.
I may or may not agree with that.
Okay, fair enough. Or you could just sit silently and just be in awe of how hot that take was.
Or not. Both are options.
I mean, because honestly, that's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to just roast. It's going to be a roasting hot take. A few years ago, the artist that was in a similar situation that, kind of recorded stuff on her own, was super young, and released it and just kind of took the music world by storm was Lorde, right? And Lorde totally blew up. Lapsley, in terms of popularity, isn't at the same place as Lorde, but I think her debut album is better.
Oh, much better.
Boom. Sizzle.
Yeah,
Let that soak in, guys.
I mean,
100%.
You're preaching the choir.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a medium take.
That's not that hot. Yeah.
I like it. What I like about Lapsley is that she's got the voice to back up her music in a way that similar artists don't. I love her bringing this big, full-bodied, warm, almost classically trained feeling vocals to her music that I think adds like a richness to it. And then when you add a lot of the other textures to the music as well, I think that's what makes it next level.
He doesn't call me, so put me through. Operator, maybe I'll leave him, fall in love with you.
Did you see Lapsley at Lollapalooza?
Not only did I see her perform, I saw her backstage. And it took me a moment to realize that she was famous because she just looked like a normal kid backstage at Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
She looks so much younger in real life than her album cover. I mean, it's jarring how young she looks. And she was, obviously, you write an album in your bedroom, and then all of a sudden you're performing at Lollapalooza. She was
And you're 19?
kind of overwhelmed by the moment.
Yeah.
It was funny to see.
Well, that's what I was going to ask
awesome.
because, I remember seeing Lorde the summer after she kind of broke through. Do you feel like based on her performance, she still has a long way to go in terms of developing
Correct.
as an artist?
Yes, Lorde was on the main stage and she was a superstar almost overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, and she owned the stage, and that performance was unreal. She's an amazing live performer.
T-Swift Squad.
Yeah,
so.
well, she was then too.
Is she making music? Does Lorde have new music?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
where's
sure.
Lorde?
I'm sure she's gonna come out with something soon. But Lapsley was a very good performer, but not. It didn't have that superstar it factor. I think we're just gonna get a really good career of great music from her, but I don't think she's gonna become top of the pop charts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this album is a phenomenal debut, no matter her age at all. It's just amazing. It's cool because it's like a more modern. She has that British. She's got this British sensibility.
Yeah, people have compared her to the younger Adele.
Young Adele,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Young Adele,
Yeah.
but
Which can be kind of a weird
cooler.
reference.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's got
With
that
an edge,
production edge
yeah.
too. She's making the music. She's just not singing.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's what kind of stands out, why the album stands out to me, is because you can tell she, as a vocalist, is close to the production. Because sometimes when there's an artist, even if it's a really good artist, like Justin Bieber's last album, those are good songs, but it seems like he's not as close to the creation of the music as someone where it's made by a producer and kind of given to him, as someone like Lapsley, where the vocals feel so tied to the production of the music that you realized how impressive of a creative force she is.
There's a lot of songs on this album where even though she does have that Adele kind of vocal range that she can powerhouse this thing, she doesn't on this song, Falling Short.
Because you took something away from yourself. Come back to this route and take your heart to higher self. Heart to higher self. Not too far to carry. Because you took something away from yourself. Come back to this route and take your heart to higher self. I'm into February and this time's like these. Because you took something away from yourself.
Based on the true story first told in an ESPN magazine feature, Queen of Katwe tells the story of a Christian missionary played by David Oyelowo who teaches Ugandan children living in the slums to play chess. After meeting a young woman named Fiona, both of their lives change forever as she becomes an internationally recognized champion. The critically acclaimed movie is about faith, perseverance, poverty, and ultimately believing in yourself. Coming in at number 30, The Queen of Katwe.
Why are you letting her win?
I'm not letting her.
You can see 8 moves ahead.
Checkmate. 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 She won.
You could be the best in all of Uganda.
Good. How can I become a champion?
Sometimes the place you are used to is not the place you belong. You belong where you believe you belong. Where is that for you?
None of your sneak attacks. This is not the ghetto.
I don't need to sneak. Checkmate.
This year's gold medalist, Fiona Mute.
I would like this all to just stop and appreciate what Jesse just did in that read. There was a lot of complicated words. Ironically,
that was a minefield.
Ironically, the one that kept tripping him up take after take was the word champion. We don't understand why that one was so hard.
David took a few takes.
Champion?
He kept
It's
going up.
pronounced Keen of Katwe, right? Keen? Is that the key? Is it a funny
all
spelling,
the difficult
right?
words he did fine. It was all the simple ones that tripped him up. It was very weird.
Which happens, you psych yourself up for the big
Right.
words. And
Exactly.
You get
You
to
know?
like a David or
Yeah, it's
Queen,
like in 4th
and
grade,
then-
I got to the finals of the spelling bee, and I lost on the word grocery because I overcomplicated it.
Have you ever seen one of those videos of like a cycle race where the dude is like he's coming down the home stretch of the Tour de France and he sits up, both hands off the wheel, and he starts fist pumping, right? And he's celebrating premature. He's already reaching for that glass of champagne, and some other guy from like the Netherlands just zips by him. That's what happened. I got too cocky. I flew a little too close to the sun there. I was fist pumping
Reaching
at the
for the
finish
champagne.
line, and that Swede just overtook me. Yeah. So, Aaron, what do you think of Queen of Katwe?
Queen of Katwe is one of those movies that I think is particularly interesting because when you go into it, you're not sure what to expect. So a movie about a young girl becoming a chess champion, in my opinion, is not the most interesting premise for a movie.
And it's a Disney movie, so it's like one of those like, okay, right. I didn't think it would be that great because it's like like Swiss Family Robinson or something.
But it's one of those movies that the character development, the ultimate story itself, awesome actors in Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo, they put their performance together into this story, and it became a movie that's really awesome. And
but you're talking about two actors who are two of the most decorated young actors. And David Oyelowo has already been nominated for an Academy Award, and Lupita Nyong'o has already won one.
Oh, absolutely. In every movie they're in, both of them are highly selective. We've talked to both are highly selective actors in the roles they'll take. So it's becoming one of those things where if you see a movie with either of one of them in it, you can expect a certain level of quality, not only in the storytelling itself, but actually the story in and of itself, and because they're only putting their work behind certain projects. And this movie delivered on that. I mean, I thought it was very good and very interesting, and I loved the way it portrayed the people of Uganda. Yeah.
Yeah, the one of the great things, the interesting things, like you said, we talked to both of the actors in recent issues of Relevant. But when David Oyelowo talked about how he feels, because he is such a committed Christian, that he seeks out these types of roles, like you were saying, that he's not just going to do like some generic kind of corny faith-based film, but he's going to do movies that actually are going to get recognition and spur people to want to know more about the characters he's portrayed. In this case, it's an actual Christian missionary who's dedicated his life to helping people living in the slums of Uganda.
Yeah, and I think the movie avoided the two extremes, right? So on one extreme, I think faith-based movies would tend to need to have some big critical climactic Jesus moment. This movie avoids that extreme. And on the other side, I think often particularly...
You mean like the crucifixion or something, right?
I'm thinking in particular of movies that at the very end, everything works out really well for the person to...
You're saying this is no fireproof. Just come out and say it.
I'm saying this is no fireproof. I'm saying, what's the one that has the Newsboys in that has Michael Tate in it?
That's God's Not Dead. And
it's not...
So you're telling me this movie doesn't end with a 15-minute Newsboys concert? I don't know why we put it on our list.
I mean that it doesn't end in a rainstorm in the middle of the street where somebody's giving the sinner's prayer.
My mouth is open right now. You two have both seen God's Not Dead? Have you actually watched it?
I just heard about it. There was like a 2-minute YouTube.
I think you watched it.
Video.
But to Aaron's point, if Lupita and David were in God's Not Dead, then that would be
awesome.
It would have been awesome.
I still think it would have had the same problem where the screenwriters were like, guys, we stretched this as long as possible. It's 45 minutes. We have no option but a 20-minute Newsboy conference at the end. The only way this is going to be technically be featured length if we just have the Newsboys vamp for a while.
The other thing this movie doesn't do is it doesn't take the missionary character, who is Robert Contende in the film, and
played by David Oyelowo.
Played by David Oyelowo. And make him any kind of villain or anything that's playing in any. They're not suspicious of him.
You were
at all.
eschewing the normal pronunciation of David Oyelowo's name and saying
I'm
Oyelowo.
passive aggressively trying to pronounce it correctly so that everyone around will be like, "Oh wait, is that Oyelowo?"
This is the pronunciation episode. I think that's what we need to rebrand this in the title.
If we could rebrand this one as pronunciations with the relevant crew,
top 50 pronunciations.
Top 50.
Yeah.
Top 50 words we like to pronounce.
This is actually sponsored by that little button on dictionary.com where you just ask it to pronounce words for you.
At this point, I don't
you're
remember
welcome,
my take.
everyone.
I think the only take there was that I like that they're portraying this missionary's work as something really positive.
Yeah. Well, Daily Show alum Samantha Bee stormed into the late night scene in 2006 with some of the most biting and unflinching satire and social commentary on TV. Her show is edgy, funny, and presents a news-focused comedy that has more punch than even more established political satire outlets. Coming in at number 29, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee.
The way we're panicking about the influx of refugees, you'd think the government was putting a Syrian in every American home. So let me just lay a little math on you. In the 5 years since the civil war began, more than 4 million Syrians have fled their country. The U.S. has pledged to accept 10,000 of them, less than a quarter of 1%. To put that in perspective, that's 10 times less than the acceptable amount of wood pulp in your Parmesan cheese. But hang on, mathletes, I'm not done. Of those 10,000, only about 2,000 have actually been resettled here.
Yeah, Samantha Bee, the late night landscape is filled with people who do like really funny, biting political satire. I mean, a little while ago, a few weeks ago, we heard from John Oliver, and John Oliver's take is smart and interesting every week. But Samantha Bee went to the Syrian border to visit with refugees. Like the one thing that I feel like a lot of those shows right now are missing is sort of that like journalistic ethic that takes the comedian out of the studio and puts them with the people they're talking about. Every week that her show's on, Samantha Bee is actually visiting with the people that she's, either roasting for some, social cause or political belief, or people that are the victims of some type of injustice. She's actually going to them, which I feel like is a significant thing because it's easy to write jokes and sit behind a desk, but to, see the perspective of people that are, either the butt of these jokes or the people that these jokes are trying to shed a new perspective on is no small thing.
Yeah. She's gotten the reputation of being like the angry comic, but this is a year where there's a lot to be angry about. So it's kind of like really tapped a nerve of how the country's feeling. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's interesting. Like when we look back on this era of television and whatever, I think her commentary will stand out as being very important and representative of the time we're in,
Yeah, and Jesse, I think like she's bringing a part of that legacy that made The Daily Show so phenomenal to her reporting, because that's kind of what Jon Stewart did, right? He went to go visit the people that he was interviewing and really get in depth with the issues before he made commentary on them. And I was reading an interview recently where her staff, once the election results came in, they were talking about how they were completely sleepless. They couldn't even process their own emotions or their own thoughts about the election, but they just had to think, okay, what are we going to provide our viewers to kind of process this and move forward themselves, and how they had to just, rise up to that. And that, I can't even imagine that.
Well, the other thing too is like she's one of the people that it's like obviously when you watch it's like, well, I can't support every opinion she has or every joke that she tells, but that doesn't mean I think her voice should be disqualified, because I think even on issues that are more polarizing, I think she presents an opinion that even if you don't agree with, you should be aware of, and she's a smart person. And like I said, even if like her position on a certain issue isn't exactly where you would fall, it's good to understand where she's coming from, because it can help inform your own opinion, even if it's different.
Yeah, and of course, the late night comedy landscape is male dominant, to say the least. And when last year David Letterman exited his show, he made the comment, I think, when they made the announcement about Stephen Colbert replacing him, that we need more women in late night comedy. And the speculation has been that it probably wouldn't work, not necessarily because there aren't women who are qualified or competent to do it, but because mass audiences just wouldn't pay attention. So to see Samantha Bee receiving the
no, that was what people were saying of why CBS didn't take that risk.
Or
he's not saying
any other
that.
mainstream.
Yeah, he's not
network.
saying that's correct.
But that's an executive.
That's great. Why the show is
that's the whole point. Out. Is that it's encouraging to see Samantha Bee getting audience reception, and the amount of buzz that people seem to have about the show, just because of that.
I mean, she's carrying the mantle of Jon Stewart, the mantle that Trevor Noah is not, and it's like it's a bummer that they went to an outsider and gave an outsider the show and not her. She should have taken over that desk, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and it's in a slightly different direction. It's interesting to me to see that once Conan O'Brien went basic cable with kind of the whole late night thing, it's becoming more mainstream, and so I imagine we'll continue to see the proliferation of late night comics get spread even further out, which of course should mean that the best and brightest rise to the top.
Part of Drake's influential OVO label, Toronto duo Majid Jordan created one of 2016's best R&B albums with their self-titled debut, laced with nods to 80s synth pop and filled with big ballads that show off their vocal range. The album is a standout, even on a label known for showcasing groundbreaking artists. Coming in at number 28, the self-titled album from Majid Jordan.
I pictured this going differently. I meant every word that I said. You should have spent more time listening. All the things that I put a hold on, all for you to hit me with a hold on. What makes you so ready right now? After I waited on you for so long. Why you wanna be my love? Is it just for show? Why you wanna be my love? My love. Why you wanna be my love? Is it just show? Why you wanna be my love? My love, my love, love. Why you wanna be my love? My love, my love. Why you wanna be my love? My love, my love. Why you wanna be my love? My love, my love. Why you wanna be my love? My love, my love.
So, Cameron, I know this was one that was in heavy rotation with you.
Yeah, this spring. I mean, because Majid Jordan, these two guys are producers on OVO, so a lot of the Party Next Door stuff and even Drake stuff are songs that these guys wrote and produced, and so it's cool to see them kind of do their own thing and with their vocals and their own project. It was cool. This year was really a year of OVO. I mean, like sure. Toronto's urban music scene from The Weeknd and obviously Drake and all that. I mean, it's just changing the game. Majid Jordan is the only representation we have of that on our list because it's the only album that came from that ecosystem that's not explicit. Yeah. So it's kind of representative of the impact
of the OVO year.
Of OVO, yeah, the year of OVO. It's a great album too. I mean, it's a great R&B album, soul. It's eclectic. It's modern. It's progressing the genre, and that's why it's on our list.
And you can tell their signature sound is all over the OVO label, like that moody, like.
It's like deconstructed.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
So good.
I think it's interesting how it worked out that they're the representative on this list of like OVO label because this album, like, I feel like is at like an extension of that signature sound where it does have those heavy beds of like 80s synth and it has like real driving beats. And, I feel like that's when you look at what sets OVO and kind of Drake's crew apart, it's not just their ability as like MCs, right? It's just not how good of rappers or even with Majid Jordan, how good of singers they are. It's they have such a unique signature sound that they progress with every album that, like you said, Cameron, it's advancing an entire genre and they're doing something that no one else is. You could listen to almost any artist on their label and know that they're with OVO.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, but if you're a girl and you're listening to Majid Jordan or any of the OVO guys, you just feel like your hair looks good. You feel like you glowed up.
Really?
Like your boyfriend's texting you.
I feel like that too.
Your life is good. Like.
No, I get it. It's like you just feel good. It's like you roll your windows down, driving. It's like I don't know. It's positive. It's positive music. What's that look on your face, Hambury?
I want to see the science behind the feeling like your hair looks good when you listen to Majid Jordan.
There is no science. It's all feeling, and they've captured it with.
I'm going
through the catalog in my head of all the songs I've heard in my whole entire life, and I don't think I've ever listened to a song.
Certain songs,
like, you know what,
just
Aaron,
give you a little
good now.
pep in your step.
Yeah,
you're like Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. Just gives you the gumption to just get up and go in the morning, and then Majid Jordan just feeling like you look good when you're going out on a Friday night.
I'll tell you what, I'm playing those songs tonight because.
Got big day night.
I'm going to try and experience this feeling of, you know what, Aaron, you're looking good now. You're looking good now. The song's
Cameron,
playing.
the first time he heard this, he had his earbuds in. He was on his motorcycle, and he just felt like he needed to pull a wheelie right there. He's never tried one before. It ended disastrously, but it filled him with the confidence.
It felt like he was just going to keep going up and just fly away.
I could go right to the clouds right now. Just punch it. Just go, man.
And that's why it's made number 28 on our list.
Yeah. The Netflix series Stranger Things was one of 2016's true pop culture breakouts.
So big.
The addictive sci-fi series combines Steven Spielberg-style storytelling with a Stephen King-style story.
Ooh, Steven and Steven.
These bios will write themselves. I'm coming up with, I got to keep these things hot and fresh. And notice no pronunciation landmarks.
How do you pronounce Stephen King? Is it Stephen?
Yeah.
Stephen
The
with
result
PH?
is, and I'm not even finished with it. Listen to this. The result is one of the most binge-friendly mysteries of the year. Hello, coming in at number 27, Stranger Things.
When's the last time you heard from Lonnie?
Last I heard, he was in Indianapolis. That was about a year ago. But he has nothing to do with this.
Why don't you give me his number?
You know, Hopper, he has nothing to do with this. Trust me.
Joyce, 99 out of 100 times, kid goes missing. The kid is with a parent or a relative.
What about the other time? What? You said 99 out of 100. What about the other time?
Joyce.
The one.
Joyce, this is Hawkins, okay? You want to know the worst thing that's ever happened here in the 4 years I've been working here? Do you want to know the worst thing? It was when an owl attacked Eleanor Gillespie's head because it thought that her hair was a nest.
Okay, fine. I will call Lonnie. He will talk to me before he talks
What,
to
a pig?
a cop. Just find my son, Hop. Find him.
How many of you guys who started Stranger Things watched it over the course of 2 days?
Within 24 hours.
You guys, I was able to watch one per week, so I'm probably more well
that's a lot
in
of
my
self-control.
discipline than
No,
you
see,
guys.
I went home. Everybody in our office was talking about it there for like a couple weeks or whatever.
Right.
And so I went home. It was a Friday night. I said to my wife Hannah, "We're gonna watch this show." And like 2 episodes in, we were like, I don't know, let's give it a third. And then after the third one, we stayed up the rest of the night and watched it. So one sitting, whole series.
Here's how I know it's a
Not
quality
series.
sci-fi mystery
Season.
with like a horror kind of tinge to it. Is that Cameron not only watched it, but he watched it in one setting. Because you this isn't usually your type of thing, right, Cameron?
It's a psychological thriller. It's not a horror thing. I mean, yeah,
It's a little spooky.
There's a monster. I don't care. That's the psychological thriller aspect, right? I know. To me, I didn't think, and we said this on the main show when it came out. I didn't think it needed. I didn't even think that the scary aspect added to it. I think it would have been just as successful just being it was so perfectly executed as a genre film. They captured that era so well. The mystery I thought was a big component. I mean, because that was the Goonies and things like that. But I didn't think they needed to. Those last couple episodes where it really was they were chasing a monster. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like I liked the unknown element more than I enjoyed the conclusion
Well,
of it.
they probably left a lot out that you'll find out in the second.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the second wave.
And if it's truly one sitting, and
what
it's
happened
like 4
to
in the
Barb?
morning by the time you're seeing that stuff, and you haven't slept, it's way
Well, no, it
it's way
wrecked
more
me
exciting
because
and terrifying.
I had Cohen that weekend, and so I put it on. He went to bed Friday night. I put it on around 9 o'clock, and I'm watching until about 4 in the morning. Well, he still gets up at 6 or 7 in the morning, right? So I have to function during the day. Wow. Well, I'm really tired. But now I need to conclude this thing. And so Saturday night, he goes to bed. I finished the thing, and the same thing happened. And then we go to church, and now I'm just dead the whole week. It just knocked me out for the
And it's
week.
all Stranger Things' fault.
It is Stranger Things' fault.
One of my favorite memes from Stranger Things is she says I'm fine, and it's like what she really means. What happened to 11? What do the waffles mean? Like what's going on?
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say, one of the notable things about the series, because there are a lot, it's an interesting story. The style is cool. The music is really cool. But I think it's also really indicative of this new era of the kind of golden age we're in right now. Because like a lot of the risk that Netflix has taken, or any prestige outlet has taken up to this point, has sort of been within, a lot of it at least, has been in either high drama, right? So you look at some of the HBO shows that are just, or AMC, or, you can go across various networks, or, a lot of them are like crime based. So there's like Breaking Bad, there's Better Call Saul, there's,
I thought you said
I thought you
crying based.
said crying based too. That's why I laughed.
Like Hallmark,
So like
Hallmark
all the way
movies.
going back to The
That's what I thought.
Sopranos, right? Like it's been these big crime epics where Netflix, this was a pretty big risk because they're not only doing something that is sci-fi based that has that's in in a style from the 80s, but it's based on kids. Like it was something totally fresh and it was a huge risk, but it was a huge payoff. And it shows that, we're not just going to get 15 Mad Men spinoffs set in different little business universes anymore. There might be some networks willing to do some really interesting high concept stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, when it all comes down to it, the show rises and falls on the acting. And that's where I think Stranger Things really did well. I mean, the rise of like Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard, who were the two main kids, the way they pulled off those roles was, I think, what made it remarkable. I mean, and you can see how most, if not, any other kid actors would have made it feel a lot less. You would have been able to get into the story a lot less.
Yeah,
so
and
you made it less accessible.
Winona
for
Ryder's
Farron.
performance, like that was really amazing. And nostalgia's having a moment right now. Like it, was reminiscent of Stephen King, but also E.T. and The Goonies, which
It is. I did. How most of the nostalgia we're seeing now, though, is largely '90s based. I did imagine like a Netflix meeting somewhere where they're like, "Well, what's big '90s nostalgia?" And somebody's
100%.
like, "Oh, what if we do?"
It feels like
what if we do
very
80s
formulaic
nostalgia?
But it feels very formulaic like that. Like somebody in a board meeting came up with like components to it. The fact that it worked is actually pretty remarkable.
But, and I think it worked because, even like
it
David Harbour.
it really
awesome
eschewed
character.
all of the typical... never mind.
It did.
Yeah, it had to hit all the notes, and it did. Because it stayed fully committed to the style the entire time.
And it did.
It did. Plus, it was fun. I mean, it's in the streaming era. I feel like it's a lot less common to have a show that like everybody's talking about. But even in our office, we were all talking about it, and that's just it added to the fun of the show for me, I think. And then even like my family members who I didn't even know watch TV, they were texting. Have you seen Stranger Things yet? What do you think happened at the end? And all those kind of things. So
well, guys,
it
I
made
got
for a
some
really
exciting
fun moment
news.
in the year, I think.
Next week, we're going to be breaking into the top half of our list. We're going to be deep into the top 20 next week. This thing's getting heat. This thing's heating up right now. I mean, we've. I feel like already talked about a lot of good pop culture, and the best is yet to come. So, we want to encourage people to check out next week. Take to Twitter at Relevant Podcast. Let us know what you think of the show. If you want to debate any picks with us, you're totally willing to.
No,
do
we
that.
don't want to hear from you if you want to debate them. We want to hear from you if you affirm our decisions.
If
That's
you
all
have
we want.
words of encouragement,
That's true.
if that's your spiritual gift,
after a
we'll receive
after a recent podcast discussion, I saw the hashtag I'm with Aaron going around a little bit related to some of the Relevant Podcast tweets. And so anybody who wants to get that going again based on my takes on
You're
the
talking
pop
about
culture
Aaron
stuff.
Rodgers.
No.
I saw that too, and I want to say this. I want to thank. I saw that tweet too. He's telling the truth. There was an I'm with Aaron tweet, and I want to thank Aaron's mom for listening last week.
They were at least 4. They were at least 4. She doesn't stop at 1 though. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna come up with a sweet hashtag.
Well, thank you to everyone who tweeted at Aaron, and also thank you to our sponsors, Video Blocks. You can get your year subscription today for only $149 at videoblocks.com/relevant. That's Videoblocks, videoblocks.com/relevant for this discounted offer. Well, thanks everyone for listening. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Cameron Strang.
Rebecca Joe.
I'm Aaron Hanbury.
I'm Chandler Strang.
We'll see everyone next week on Relevant Top 50.